How often do you stop and ask yourself why it is that you do what you do? What drives your decisions and your reactions? Understanding this is called self-awareness, and it is the essential next step to understanding yourself so you can better navigate your own life and the world around you so that you can create meaning. This is episode 5 of our series so far. What have we talked about already? We've talked about personal responsibility, gratitude, perspective, and the value of hard work. Today, we're going to be discovering the importance of self-awareness. Self-awareness is your ability to understand how your thoughts, actions, and behaviors affect internally how you respond to things, but how it also affects the world around you. Now, self-awareness is quite hard, and most people are not very good at it. It takes time. You have to stop and reflect. Whereas most people operate on autopilot, wanting to coast through life and completely blissfully unaware of how things affect them and how their actions affect the world around them. Self-awareness matters for a number of reasons. Firstly, for all the reasons that we're doing this series, personal growth comes from understanding that you can't take full responsibility for your actions if you aren't self-aware. You also need self-awareness for episodes 2 and 3's topics of gratitude and perspective. If you don't even realize that you're focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do have, then you're never going to be able to have gratitude and perspective to live a more positive and helpful life. And for the value of hard work, well, it helps you identify where you need to work harder. It helps you see where you aren't applying yourself. But it also has a positive aspect, is it helps you identify progress so that you can discover a sense of accomplishment when you do achieve tasks. Now, what are some examples? Acknowledging your weaknesses. You need to be self-aware to be able to acknowledge your weaknesses and not wallow in self-pity or be in denial. For example, acknowledging that you're procrastinating and that you need to get back to your study or your work or whatever the case may be. You need to be self-aware so that if you're procrastinating, you need to realize that your procrastination is holding you back and that you need to put a plan in place so that you can be more effective with your time. Or with your emotions, being self-aware to understand if you're stressed and you're having a hard time, that you're more likely to snap at people, certain circumstances, and so approaching situations where you know that you're likely to be triggered and being self-aware enough to hold your tongue instead of snapping at people because of how you feel and not because they necessarily did anything wrong. And you also need to be self-aware to understand how your actions affect other people. For example, if you're having an argument or a conversation with someone, that the tone of your voice could actually be quite hurtful, and stopping and acknowledging that you've done the wrong thing and trying to address the issue constructively. Now, what are some ways that you can work on being more self-aware? One tip that a lot of people actually talk about is journaling. And I'll admit that it's something that I certainly need to work on. But the concept is at the end of each day, you stop and you write 2 lists. What did I do well today? And what could I do better if I had the chance over again tomorrow? And write down a list of things that you genuinely think you've done well. Another thing that you can try is mindfulness. And you don't need to go as far as meditation, but it's more just to stop with the rush of your daily life and think about your thoughts. Focus on them as they come and go through your mind and see, well, what do I spend a lot more time thinking about? Or what should I start thinking about more? And take breaks from distractions like social media so that you can be more present in the world around you. And the final way, and probably the original human way to get better at self-awareness, is to talk to people around you, trusted people, friends and family, and ask them to give you feedback, constructive criticism, and be open to it, to hear what they have to say on your strengths and weaknesses, and see if that marries up with your own view of yourself. And if it doesn't, then perhaps you have now just highlighted the areas that you need to work on within yourself. Now, all of these episodes are leading up to the next episode, which is meaning, finding your meaning in the world. And self-awareness is very directly tied into finding your meaning, because You cannot find your meaning or your purpose if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your strengths and your weaknesses, your passions and your values, or what fears and biases you might have that are holding you back. Self-awareness allows you to take ownership of your life and align your actions and values with your goals. As Carl Jung put it, your visions will only become clear once you can look into your own heart. Self-awareness is the key to unlocking your potential and finding where you fit in this world. What is your role in this crazy world that we live in? And that is the transition into the next episode, which is finding your meaning and purpose. Because once you know yourself, once you identify how you operate and how other people perceive you because you've become self-aware, you can start to craft a better future for yourself and for the people around you. This week's call to action is to practice self-awareness. I mentioned journaling, I mentioned mindfulness, but whatever it is, focus on one area of your life, what strength or a weakness, and try and keep an eye on it throughout this week, whether it be, or even just a day, a couple of days, and see if you're consistent in the way that you do things, good or bad, and build from that. And so you can then start to build an entire picture of who you are in the world. Thank you to everyone that stayed with me so far. This is episode 5. I really hope that you're actually starting to feel like you're getting some good information out of these episodes, that you're finding it helpful. Next week, we're going to finish the series by talking about how you can find your meaning, discover your purpose. Much like what I'm trying to do here with this podcast, is trying to find how I can create good in this world. And I'm hoping that we can do that for everyone. The more people that can find their meaning and their purpose, the better the world can be. So thank you, everyone. And stay with me. We're almost at the end, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.